Yeah. Good morning, Uncle. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Okay, so let me share my screen. Hope you are able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, Venkat.
Yes. Yes, Uncle.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's start our today's session. So today we are going to discuss about the fundamental data structures or data collections in Python. Okay. So till now we have seen variables, string methods, so different string functions we have uh, seen in Python. And today I'm planning to introduce Python data structures or data collections. Okay. So in Python, so we have mainly four different types of data collections. So what do I mean by data collection or data structure, right? So when you are working with the data, right, or when you are programming, you may face some scenarios wherein you need to manipulate multiple data elements. Okay, so in that scenarios we use these collections to hold the data elements in your program, right? So for example, let us take an example. I have a web application and wherein all the users are logging in and doing their transactions and logging out, right? Let's take this is a simple example. And there, let us say if you want to pull all the user list or all the users that are those who logged in, right, into the website or web application. So if you want to pull that information, you need some kind of a data structure or some kind of a data type to support all the users and to present it to you, right? So in that scenarios, this data structures will help you, right? For example, I have 10 different mobile numbers, right? So how you will represent the 10 different mobile numbers to me, to my ID, right? So in that case, to hold data elements or to hold multiple data elements, so these collections will really help you when you are writing programs. Okay. So in our coming sessions, so we'll be utilizing these lists, set, tuple, dictionary, data structures vastly. Okay, so we use them on a day-to-day fashion. In real-time projects also, you regularly use these data structures. Okay. So for example, you have 100 different files in a directory, and you want to process file by file, right? So how you will extract all the paths of that 100 different files and how you will store it in a collection and iterate one by one, right? So to solve this kind of real-time use cases, you need this data collections knowledge. Okay. So this is something which is very important concept in Python. Okay, so after this concept, we will proceed for loops. Okay, so till now we have seen variables and string methods. Now we are entering a little bit deeper into the Python programming. Okay, so wherein we will see these data structures and how we operate with data structures, right? And then we will proceed further to loops and then oops. Okay, so that's where we ends Python programming, and then we will proceed for SQL. Okay, so this is let's start our journey of collections with lists. Okay, so we have Python lists. Python supports lists, and we know Python is dynamic typing, or it has type inferencing feature. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So Python can intelligently detect its data types. One minute, guys. Okay. Okay. So unlike other programming languages, you don't need to declare data types for your variables in Python. Remember. Okay. So that is what dynamic typing or type inferencing feature will call it as. But if you take Java or Scala or any other C++, any other programming language, when you declare a variable, you always specify its type. Okay. So for example, a colon int equals to 10, like that. But in Python, you don't need to do that. It has its self intelligence to detect the variable type based on the variable value. Okay. So that is one of the feature of Python. So that's where actually in the lists we use this concept. Why I explained this concept now? So in lists, compared to other programming languages, how Python lists are different, right? So that is something I'll show you the examples, but before that, I just want to recollect that concept to you so that you'll correlate. Okay. So now coming to this Python list, right? So Python lists are fundamental data structure in Python used to store and manipulate collection of items. Meaning, as I already told you, this is one of the data structure or collection in Python, which can be utilized to hold or to manipulate collection of data elements. Remember, collection of data elements. So what we can do with the list, we can actually store multiple elements, multiple data elements into a single variable. So that we'll call it as a collection of data elements. Okay. So, and list items are ordered, and these are mutable or changeable. Okay. So list items, once you create a list items that you are storing, inside a list, or the elements that you are storing inside a list, or ordered. That means the elements will follow certain order based on their positions or based on their index positions. Okay. And the lists in Python are mutable. Okay. Mutable meaning or changeable. You can change elements inside the list anytime. Okay. And you can add elements or you can modify elements inside the list. You can do all the activities, whatever the modifying or manipulation related activities you can do on top of a list. Okay. And the basic behavior of list, it allows duplicates. Okay. So you insert same element multiple times into the list, it will take. Okay. So that is the basic behavior of the list. And when we do the actual practice, you will come to know what is the detailed information about this Python list. Okay. But for now, understand that why we use these data collections. So to store and manipulate collection of data elements, we use these data structures. Okay. So remember this point, guys. This is very, very important. Now let us understand how we can, create lists and how we can access list elements and how we can, access based on the indexes and how we can slice the list and how we can modify the list elements, right? So, these are few basic things that we will see, and then we will see the list methods, what are most commonly used list methods. Okay, so these are all this is again a practice session, guys. So we will do all these operations in our integrated development platform IDE called PyCharm. Okay, so let's go back to our IDE. So we have seen till now, we have seen data types, arithmetic operators we have seen, and string methods we have seen, and variables we have seen. So today we are going to practice Python lists. Okay, so now let us understand how actually we can create a list in Python. So here, if you see, we can create a list using square brackets. Okay. So in Python, if you want to create a list, let us say I want to create a list. So this is how you will create: variable name, okay, equals to the value. You can create it as a list type. Okay. So you can create it as a list type. So here, if you see, I'm creating one more variable, which is actually, okay. So this is another, with elements into it. So here, now variable B is of a list type. Remember, variable B is of a list type, which is holding multiple data elements into it. Remember, that's where we'll call it as collections, right? So why we call it as collection in Python? So lists or sets or tuples or dictionaries can hold multiple data elements, or we can manipulate, we can hold, we can store multiple data elements into a single variable. Remember, into a single variable. So now what is the type of this list? Sorry, what is the type of this variable B? It will become list. So now if you simply print type of B, right? So what it will return? It will return list. Okay, are you with me, guys? Any questions or queries? Are you able to understand what is a data collection and what is a list in Python?
Yes, we understood. Okay.
Yes, Randy.
Okay, fine. So now here, by using this type method or type function, so we can able to identify the data type of a variable, right? So we have seen this type function in data types session. So you can declare a list and you can see its type, whether what type it is taking, right? So, and this is how we will create a list with square braces. And one by one, we'll see the list features, right? So we have discussed the list is ordered. So what do I mean by that? So list is ordered, meaning the elements inside the list, the elements or data items inside the list are stored by following a specific order. Remember, by following a specific order. So based on what it will follow the order, it based on the index position. Remember, based on the index position. So list internally store your elements in indexes, okay, in the form of index position. So for example, it stores one item or one element in 0th index position. Okay, it store two element in first index position. So index positioning always starts from 0. Remember, index positioning always starts from 0. Okay. So now as you insert elements into it, it will store in order. Okay, so the position order also will gets increased. So as and when you insert, it will add that element in a ordered index position. Okay, so that is the reason we will always say lists in Python or properly ordered collection. Okay, so this is how we will create the lists, and we can change lists. Meaning what? So changeable or mutable, how that property works, right? So let us take an example. Before that, let's understand how we can access elements from the list. How we can access elements from the list. So from the list, you can access elements based on the index positions. Okay, based on the index positions. So here, if you see, I'm just printing b of 0. Okay, so b of 0. Now see, it printed the data element or the element that is there in 0th position. Are you with me, guys? Okay, so similarly here, if you see, I'm printing the first position from the list. The value is 2. Okay, so this is how you will access the list elements based on indexes. Okay, so now how I can fetch a part, I mean how I can extract a particular portion from the list. So that is what we'll call it as list slicing. Let us say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need only 2 and 3. I need only 3 and 3 and 4. Right? So if you want to extract a particular portion from a list, that concept we'll call it as slicing, list slicing. Okay, so list slicing meaning you can always pass 2 indexes with a colon, then your Python will understand that you're expecting the positions from 1 to 3. Okay, so now when you run it, it will always return a list. Okay, you can ask me a question. Hey Venkat, you have given 1:3, but I am expecting 2, 3, 4 also, right? But remember, in list slicing, the first index is inclusive and the second index always exclusive. Okay, so second index always exclusive, meaning it won't consider the third position, it will consider 3 minus 1 position. Okay, so this is what list slicing is, guys. So I'm repeating once again. If you want to extract a particular sub portion of a list based on the indexes, that concept we'll call it as list slicing. Okay, so where we will use this list slicing in our regular projects, right? So not only the list slicing, extracting the list elements, all these list methods, we will we will regularly utilize this list, guys, in real time. Let us take an example. You have a file. Okay, you have a Excel file having a column called details. Okay, and in this column I have values like this: Venkat space see here, I'm just preparing some sample data. I have a file called emp underscore details dot csv. Okay, so this is my file name. Now in this file, I have a column called details. Okay, and in this column, I have data like this: Venkat space so 10 space 10,000. Okay, 36. We'll say we'll take these three attributes, that is enough. Okay, so here if you see, I have a column called details. In the details, each record is storing the employee details. Now employee details meaning the first position in this string is employee name, and the second position in this string is employee department number, and the third position is salary. Okay, now your requirement is add one more column to this file or process this file by adding one more column. That column should consist of giving 10% or increasing 10% of employee salary. Okay, so now I want to provide 10% hike to my employees. So I just want want you to process this file to add 10% hike. Okay, now this is your data. So in that scenario, how you will do? You will use all these Python based functions. So we know what is a string, right? We know how we can split a string, right? So here if you see, whenever you are reading this file, your details column will become a data collection. Okay, it is not only for single employee, right? So it will be for multiple different employees. So now here, Suresh, I have two employee details. Okay, so when you read, as and when you read this file into Python, your columns will become data collections as lists. Okay, so the records, each record will become one element inside a list. Okay, so now when it becomes like that, so how actually you will extract the salary and how actually you will add that column into your file is something that we will do it later. But now what you need to understand, the real world use cases or the real world importance of data collections, guys. So now you got each string or each employee detail, you stored it into a variable, and then as and when you stored, you need to split it to extract the required information. So what is my delimiter here, guys? My delimiter is space, right? So I will specify the space here. So now my employee detail variable is, so I already explained, the split function always returns a type, list type. Which type it will return, guys? List type. So the input you passed as string and you used space delimiter on top of the string variable, and it returns the split. Sorry, it returns the list type. So here if you see, the input is string and you splitted it and you got the list type. So now it's a collection of data elements. Now see here, I have three different elements. Now how you will use this position based list extraction, right? So here if you see, I want employee name, just employee detail of 0, you will get employee name. I want employee department number, right? 10. I want employee salary. Okay. 10,000. So for my salary, I want to double the employee salaries. So I want to double the employee salaries, guys. So in that case, what you will do? So double means, so that's the hike I want to give. Okay. See, you just, oh, sorry. Oh, why it has given 2 times, guys? So we forgot to cast it because so try to recollect, guys. We have seen these string operations. When you concatenate 2 strings, it will come like this. But when you use plus operator between the integers, you will see the actual behavior, right? So you can assign it to new salary, and then you can add it into a file column, and then you can generate a new file. So this is the importance of position based extraction. Now let's see how actually the slicing will help you in real time projects, right? So now I want only the employee name and department number. I don't want salary. Okay, so I want only the employee name and department number for my analysis. So in that case, what you will do, you will simply say I just need employee name and department number. So I need these two. Okay. So now if I give only 0 to 1, what I will get? I will only get, sorry, yesterday. So I only get Venkat. See? That means in slicing, when you do list slicing, remember this point, the first position is inclusive. That means your Python kernel will consider that position. Okay. But the second position is exclusive, meaning it will avoid and it will take 1 minus 1. That means it will give 0 to 0th position. So that means Venkat only you will get. Okay. For example, you need department number as well. So you have to give till 2 so that it will give department number. So the first position is inclusive and the second position is exclusive in terms of it will reduce minus 1 from the second position and it will take till that position. Okay. So it will count the return element number, remember? So how many, the length of the return list. So it is 2. So that's how it will count. Okay. For example, you need salary also, right? You need salary also. So in that case, what you will do? Okay. So how dynamically we will detect these lengths? How dynamically we can, it is not like in real time projects also you will give hard to code this slicing functions. In real time, if you know every time that the string is coming in that place, then you will hard code. But if you don't know, then in that case you have to go for dynamic slicing, right? So how dynamically you will get the positions, right? So we will see that in our coming sessions, but till right now just try to remember your list is a data collection in Python which can be used to hold multiple data elements into it, and we have a specific data type called list in Python. Okay, so when you create a list and store it in a variable, that a variable type will become list type. Okay, and our Python lists are ordered. Okay, and our Python lists are ordered and you can access elements from the list based on index positions, and you can slice your list based on the index positions. Okay, so these are some key points that I want you to remember. Okay, so now Venkat, you can ask me a question. Venkat, can we create lists only with integer values? No, you can create lists with any type of data elements into it. Okay, so here if you see, I'm creating Venkat. Okay, so this B will become list of strings. Okay, and this first B or else this A variable will become list of integers. Okay, so this is where I just want to explain the difference between other programming languages. Okay, so now when you are declaring a variable of a list type in programming languages like Java or Scala, you will always define variable of which type, meaning it you will define list of string. Okay, so similar, I mean, I will just simply give you the syntax. So this is how maybe in other programming languages we will declare the list type variable. Okay, that means you can only store strings in that variable, list of strings in that variable. But here in Python, because of its dynamic typing, you don't need to specify anything here. Okay, you can straight away declare your list as like you want. So it is not restricted to store only integers or only strings. You can always store the mixed type of data elements also into your Python list. Remember, it is not restricted to store only integers or only strings inside a list. You can also store different data types into a single list. So that is what we'll call as mixed list. So here if you see 1 comma Venkat, Mahesh, 100, right? So you can also create lists using different data types or storing different data type of elements into it. Okay. So once you created the list, right? So again, as like string methods we have seen, so you have different list functions you can explore, right? You can I mean, we have different list functions we can utilize on top of a list. These are all inbuilt, guys. These are all inbuilt list functions, we'll call it as. So we'll see one by one, and we'll see the importance of these list functions and the functionality. We'll observe the functionality of these list functions, right? So now we'll start with the length. Okay, so now we have a list called my list. Okay, so this is my list variable. The variable name is my list, and its type is list of integers. Okay, and I have these many data items into this list. Okay, now I want to find out how many elements are there in my list. That's my use case. So in that case, you can utilize element underscore count equals to length of my list. So like string function, we have length is a function we can apply on top of list variables also. So when you do this, it will give you the element count. Okay, it will give you the element count. So how I can dynamically pass my position, right? So for example, the list slicing we have seen. For example, here if you see my underscore list of 0 to, for example, I need to print, for example, I need from the third position to, okay, till the end I need. Okay, so in that case, I can actually pass this length, right? So that how you can actually dynamically see here, you got 4 and 5. Because length will start counting from 1, but your index's positioning will start from 0. Remember, your index's positioning will start from 0. So that is why even it is exclusive, so your length returned 5, but your index position is ending with the 4. So 5 minus 1, 4. So it considered the complete length. Okay, so that's how you can dynamically pass the positions using the length. Okay, now, and length always calculates your position, the length of elements, I mean the number of elements that are there in the collection, and it starts counting from 1. Okay, so it won't start counting from 0. 0 starting is only for the index positions. Okay, so your length always starts counting elements from 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many elements I have, those many, that number it will return. That is the functionality of your length function. Okay. Now Python has some, inbuilt intelligence. Let us take an example. I want to extract the last, element. So you can always call your negative indexes starting from 1. Oh, sorry. So you can always call your negative indexes. See this. Okay. But negative index, remember, starts from 1. Positive index starts from 0. Are you with me, guys? Any queries or questions till now?
No, I'm good.
No, Venkat.
No, Venki.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So here, if you see, Python is also providing to call negative index. So negative index meaning, so you can access, if you want to access the last elements inside a data collection or a list, you can call your negative indexes. So -1, -2, right? See this. -3. So you can always apply slicing with negative indexes, right? So this is the negative index calling. Now, starting from a particular position, I want, till certain index. So in that case, what you will do, you just simply specify colon and specify, the index till where you want. See this. Again, this index is exclusive. If you see the positions, it will give the return count. So that means it will return 3 elements. Okay, it will return 3 elements from the starting. So from the index point of view, if you see 0, 1, 2, it will return. Okay, so that is what this second number meaning. So when I say it is exclusive, it will return that many number of elements starting from the 0th index. So here, from the starting till where you need, you can actually specify that. I need 4 elements from the starting. You can specify 4. Okay. And from the second index, I need everything. Okay, from the second index, I need everything. So you can also utilize this. So 0, 1, 2. So second index until end you got. This is the list slicing. Okay, so you can utilize this Python inbuilt functionalities when you are programming. Okay, so now we understood about the list slicing, and we also understood about the length function, what it will do. Okay, and we know the lists are ordered. Okay, and these that position that it creates is based on the indexes. So it will store your data elements in a specific order based on the indexes. Okay, so now we will see the next function.
Mr. Venkat, I had a
Yeah.
doubt.
Yes.
Uh, Suppose we have to print the element from first index and the last two index, then how can we skip the second and third position?
Sorry, come
Suppose
again,
we have
Kranti.
suppose we have to print zeroth index and the last two index position,
Okay.
then how can we skip remaining 2, 3 elements?
So you want to skip these elements and you want only this first element and then the last two elements.
Last two elements, right?
Okay. So in that case, you have to play with the slicing only. So, I mean, for example, I'll go with the basic. If I want to do it, I will simply do like this. Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah. I mean, you can write in a different way also, but you still can optimize it. But this is the basic way we can actually, if you want only those elements, you can do this. You can concatenate these two lists, extract the required elements, and place it into new lists, and then concatenate however you want. Okay. Yeah. So moving on, I mean, if you really want to explore, right? So based on this knowledge, you can go and explore, try multiple different cases, how we can solve, how we can extract, different positions in different use case. To take different use cases and try to practice by yourself, so that you will get kind of good understanding. Okay, so if you got some query based on how we can extract, then you can try to practice that example with the basic knowledge that I'm providing here, so that you will try to understand. So the logic can be written multiple ways. Okay, so I write logic in one way, another developer can write logic in a different way, right? So it depends, or it varies. So it comes with your practice. So that's the reason I request you to practice. So this kind of examples, people will ask you in interviews, right? So I have a list, and try to print first half of the list, or try to print the even indexes from the list. Okay, try to print the odd indexes from the list. So these are some interview questions you face in programming. Okay, so I request you to practice your examples, take your examples in that way, so that you'll put your brain into it, and then you can practice different logics. Okay, so okay, so just diverted with this. Okay, fine. So now we have seen the length function. Kranti, are you clear? Okay, fine. So we have seen the length function. Now let us take an example. We have discussed about our lists, our Python lists are mutable, okay, or changeable. Okay, so in that case, what we will do? So actually, we will justify that statement, right? So here, if you see, your list consists of multiple data elements. Okay, I want to change my data elements. Okay, how I can change? Here, if you see, my underscore list of 0 equals to 10. Okay, so that means I am changing my 0th position value from 1 to 10. Okay, so from 1 to 10. So if you print the my list, here if you see, your declared list has been changed or modified. Okay, so I want to change my second position to 10. Okay, so this is how you will modify your list based on your index value. Okay, so now I have this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I just want to sort my list. Okay, I just want to, or else I'll take this sorted list. So you have this sort function, which is inbuilt function you can utilize to sort your list. It is returning none. Okay, we'll see this function later. But now we came to know that we can modify the list elements. Okay, so now we will see how we can add list elements into the list. Okay, so by using the append function. So here if you see, there is a function called append inbuilt. Okay, what happened to this? Okay, so you can add elements into the list. So append of 10. Okay, so when you print your list, okay, so when you use append, so why we will use append, guys? So append is a function to insert elements into a specific list. List dot append of, we don't specify any index position here. Okay, by default it will add your elements at the end of your list. Okay, so list dot append of the element value will pass, not the index position. Okay, so the element value will pass, and the default behavior of this append function is to add this element at the end of the list. Okay, so if you want to modify already created positions of the index, just now we have seen you just pass list of index value equals to the element value. Okay, but if you want to add elements at the end of your list, then you can use this append function. Okay, so this is the way to insert elements. So we know how to add elements, we know how to modify elements into a list, correct? So, and then let's see how to remove elements from the list, right? So we'll just try to see the pop function. So here if you see, there is a inbuilt function in Python called pop. So this pop we will utilize to remove elements from your list, and the input for it is the index position. Okay, so the input for it is the index position. Okay, so now if you see, you created one list and then you appended 10 to 8. So, and then you removed the last variable. Okay, you removed the last variable. Okay, here if you see, you remove the last element here from the list. So pop is a function to remove elements from the list. Okay, and the input that this function will take is the index position. Okay, so if you want to remove the 0th position or the first value from the list, then yes, you can do that using pop function. Okay.
What if we don't mention any index position?
I don't think it will run. Oh, by default, it is removing the last value.
Okay.
Sai.
Okay, thanks.
I think, let me see the definition of this pop function. I think this is optional. The index position is, see here, default last.
Okay.
Okay, default lost is the index position. So good question, Sai. So your pop function always takes the last element from the list to remove. Okay, that is the default behavior of your pop function. But if you pass any specific index, it will go and it will remove that specific index. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So now let us understand the negative extraction, right? So we have seen all the positive cases. Yes. Okay. So these indexes, extraction of indexes, and we have printed and we have seen, values, all those things. Now let us understand, for example, my list is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. Okay, and what is my index position, maximum index position? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I am trying to extract 5th index. Okay, I am trying to extract the 5th index. So what it will return, guys? It will return list index out of range. So this is, remember this error, guys. So when you are trying to extract any index positions that are not available for your list, okay, For example, your list index is ending with 4 and you're trying to extract 10th index. Okay, so in that case, your kernel will return an error called list index out of range. So this error we usually see in real time. So unwantedly or unfortunately, we'll declare some lists and then we will try to extract dynamically in the program. So that times you'll see these errors. Okay, so this list index out of range exception we will get when we try to extract the indexes that are not available or that are not exist for your list. Okay, even the same thing will work with the pop also. Okay, so let me try to see that dot pop of 5. See this pop index out of range. Okay, so these exceptions are very important. Okay, so we will see few more functions. I have some, yeah. So append, extends. So here, if you see, we have again insert, right? We have remove. We will see the differences between pop and remove tomorrow. Okay, and we will see the difference between append and insert also. Okay, so we will see a few more functions. Okay, tomorrow. Here, if you see when you say list dot, so you have all these functions, right? So I'll try to cover all the functions tomorrow, and I'll try to close it. And we will also see one example for deep copy and shallow copy. So this is very important in Python lists. Okay, so there is a concept called list copying. In the list copying, we have two types. One is deep copy and shallow copy. Okay, so we'll see the difference between these two, and then we will see few more functions. Today we have seen a pop function, we have seen append function, we have seen length function, right? So like that, tomorrow we will cover most of the list functions that are available, and then we will see the difference between deep copy and shallow copy, and then we will move on to set data structure. Okay, so any queries or questions in today's session, guys?
No, Venki.
Okay, so I just want to create one WhatsApp group for this batch, and I want your inputs. So I'll take 5 more minutes of your time. So in the chat box, I request you to put your WhatsApp number so that we will create a WhatsApp group for our batch, so that it will help for better communication. Okay, and I'll post all the course related content and updates there. Okay, and also people, I want the clear understanding from the people. Hope you are aware that this course is Google Cloud Data Engineer. Okay, and it goes with Python, SQL, and PySpark, and then we will enter into Google Cloud. Few people may want only Python, few people may want only PySpark, few people want SQL, few people want the entire course. So I want your specific interest. So try to post that also in the chat. Okay. So everybody post your complete or post your interest from this course content, right? So that is very important to segregate the people. Okay, and I think we have to very less count today because most of the people did not join, I guess. I'll check with them, but I need okay, so I didn't see. We have 11 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got only 6 numbers, guys. Okay, so I'll create a WhatsApp group, and in that group, as and when I create, I'll post the content, the course content. Okay, so let me know who are interested for which content. Okay, so that is something that I want to understand. Okay, so I'll also post the payment information there. So we will take it. I mean, we'll use that channel for better communication is what the end goal is. Okay, fine. Thank you so much for joining today's session, guys. Once again, tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thank you, Venkat.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Venkat.
not tomorrow. Once
Thank
again
you,
on
Venkat.
Monday. Yeah, bye.